We're humans. We build bridges and we become doctors and we fight crime. These are noble pursuits, acts of construction and of order, because that's what we try to do in our lives. But art, literature, is different. It's not necessarily useful either. It's messy. It's perhaps the only thing that makes life feel worth living. What the doctors and policemen and bridge builders come home to. But now it feels endangered. Because AI, our great regurgitator, can now compose and paint and write faster and more efficiently than we can. It begs the question, what's the point of our authentic art anymore? What can we do that a robot mind can't? What's so special about our experience? Well, we can feel. And literature is contingent on that feeling, on emotion. That's where we get meaning. I'll demonstrate that to you with 3 words. I love you. If I say that to you, it carries a meaning. Probably that of confusion because we haven't met. But if your grandmother says it, or your wife or your husband says it, or your best friend says it, it's different. Language acts as a ghost ship, and emotion is the captain, because the signal comes from the soul. What is a signal without a broadcaster? What is a smile without a face? What is a book without a human writer? AI cannot live, therefore it cannot feel, therefore it cannot create what we call art. Case closed, that was easy. AI can't love, so it can't write of love. But that answer doesn't satisfy me. And I don't think it's fair to say that words need owners. Literature doesn't require context. And let's be honest, AI can produce good, or at least adequate, writing. It might be a mosaic of stolen voices, but sometimes it works. However, authors die. That sounds like a strange rebuttal. But hear me out. Shakespeare has been dead for 4 centuries, and yet new meanings still emerge from his plays because interpretation is the oxygen of art. Meaning is born in the reader, not the writer. But if interpretation is what breathes life into literature, if the author is already sometimes irrelevant, just consider the Gothic period, for example, where so many books were published anonymously, then is the art of the dead really that different from the art of something that was never alive? Arguably, it's more profound in a twisted way that AI can create emotion ex nihilo. Or maybe our emotion is so potent that it is mimicked by a mindless machine. Is that beautiful? Or is it a mockery? Because no matter how good it gets, there is something uncanny about AI art. A transgression. Like a fish describing fire. Like a corpse telling you it misses you. How dare you write of love and loss when you do not fear being forgotten? Because that's the line in the sand. AI doesn't fear being forgotten. AI does not need to say, I was here. It doesn't need to say anything. Which is exactly why it's not a threat to literature. Not truly. AI will dominate fields in satellite navigation or maybe financial advice, but it does not need to write. So in a world that is becoming more clean-cut and efficient, it is not a threat. Machines don't even need to be a threat to literature. Let me show you what I mean. In 1977, humanity launched 2 spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. But we didn't just send machines. We sent a golden record, our little cosmic mixtape, thunder, bird songs, greetings in 55 languages, DNA, Buck, Johnny B. Good, a silhouette of a pregnant woman, and the sounds of a kiss. It is absurdly hopeful, but it shows we're scared of being forgotten and desperate to be understood, things AI is not and cannot be. In the cold, indifferent void of space, we whispered, this is who we are, and that is literature. That is art, not a tool, not an algorithm, but a declaration of being, a scream of our soul across the void. AI might one day outpace us at everything, and maybe one day we'll grow some common sense and spend our time learning, practicing practicing arithmetic and learning about covalent bonds, but it will never, ever say, not truthfully, not with trembling hands and a beating heart, that I was here. Never.